In our day-to-day life, we don't need salvation. We live our life, and we have such a life here on this earth that so many of us do not need salvation from anything. We can just live our life, and it's great. And in fact, we do everything that we can to prevent the need for salvation. If we even take a step towards what we would consider bad, we do everything possible to put the brakes on and say, hold on a minute, we're going to get out of this situation. But what if that attitude, what if that mindset is what is preventing us from seeing the work of God in our life? See, for Daniel and for Paul, they were willing to step into the lion's den. They were willing to step within an inch of death. Within an inch of those claws coming down or those teeth coming down and perishing. Why were they able to do that? Well, Paul says it right here. The Lord will rescue me from every evil work and will bring me safely into his heavenly kingdom. He knows that God will save him from the hostility of Satan. And that the ultimate salvation is that he will bring, God will bring Paul safely into his heavenly kingdom. This is the same thing that Daniel knew as well. That it doesn't matter what happens in this earthly kingdom, that he will arrive safely in the heavenly kingdom, no matter what happens right here and right now. What if playing it safe is the worst thing that we can do? Look, I'm not a risk taker by nature. I'm not someone that pushes the envelope and goes and does stuff that's just kind of out there. I'm not that way. I'm not one to go into the lion's den. But what if that's preventing me from seeing the work of God in my life? Now, I'm not saying, spit up wind or, drive without your seatbelt or just, lay down in the middle of the road or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about. But what we are talking about here is that Satan still brings hostility. It doesn't matter if we are followers of God or not. He wants to destroy the work of God. And if you are working towards the work of God, then he wants to destroy that. And we will find hostility towards that. How are we going to respond? We're going to respond with wanting revenge? Paul could have. All these people that deserted him and left him and harmed him, Paul could have sought revenge, but he didn't do that. He found his salvation in God alone. He kept up the work. And it was in the salvation that he said that the Gentiles got to be preached to, that those far from God got to hear the gospel of God. We must keep going. We must keep working. Or you must start working. Start putting yourself in those places that might end up being a bad place. But it's in those bad places, it's in those lions' dens, that we can actually experience the salvation of God.